Welcome to the Books and Martinis podcast.
I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy.
And this is your go-to book podcast,
where we lift, empower, and spotlight authors.
Grab your martini and follow along.
And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to our podcast. I'm Priya.
I'm Mercy. Welcome, everybody. Most of all, welcome, Max and Monroe. Welcome, ladies.
Cheers, guys.
I'm so excited to have
welcome
you here.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us. This is very diverse, as we can see. We've got from water to coffee to flavored water to kombucha over there. I mean, just having a good time.
We're always having a good time with our authors. Yes. And we're so excited to have you both today. Thank you so much for joining us. I met you guys at your book signing that you had a few months ago through Carly Robbins. So shout out to Carly for bringing us together. Carly. She is amazing. She is Spitfire, and we're so excited again to have you guys here. And we're going to be talking about your book, which is actually the second in your series, When I Should Have Stayed. The first in your series is What I Should Have Said.
Correct. Right. Correct.
Yeah, so guys, don't get this mixed up. This is the second book that we're talking about here. And we haven't featured the first book, but guess what? This is our featured book for book club. And our book clubbers are going to love both of them. And these are tearjerkers. Yes. Get ready for the torture.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was not as prepared as I thought I was. Full disclosure. I did not know that this was the second part. I knew that there were two books, but for whatever reason, I thought these were the two books. So I need to pick up the first book.
Yeah.
So that before I read the second book, which we have to tell our book clubbers, because anyway, thank you for my beautiful book. I love that it's autographed. I love that it came in pink and it was so cute. I love the card, you guys. That was so cute.
Right?
I still love it with the gold XOXO. So thank you. We want to learn so much about you. How did you ladies meet and how did this whole thing start? Because most people think Max Monroe, and I feel like that's intentional, is one author.
Yeah.
But no, it's Max and
Monroe. There's two people, guys, on the screen. I know you're listening. There's two people.
If you're listening, there are two beautiful ladies, and one is Max and one is Monroe, and they're going to tell us how Max and Monroe was born.
Well, am I going to take this or are you going to take this, Max?
Go ahead. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, it slightly changes every time. The details are there, but so we were both publishing on our own back in like 2012, 2013, and we had met through, back then Facebook was the place to be. I'm really aging us here, but Facebook was the place to be. We met through author groups, writer groups. We did some author events together, and we just became like really fast friends. And then around 2015, we were both going through kind of a hard personal season in our lives. So one of us, which we don't know which one, said we should write a book together, just like for fun. We seriously don't know who said it, but we both were in agreement, obviously. So we wrote our first book together. We started in 2015 and we published it in 2016. And that book was called Tapping the Billionaire. And it was this fun, flirty rom-com. And we had like the best time ever writing together. Normally, when you meld two minds and like two types of writing styles together, it can be hard. Like it's hard to kind of leave your ego and your emotions, at the door when you're collaborating on your words with someone else. But for some reason, it's like we're writing soulmates. Like that sounds very like HEA, romantical, but it's true. It just works. Like we are meant to write together. So ever since we published Tapping the Billionaire, we're like over 50 books published.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. As a team.
As a team. Yep. As a team. And when we first published under Max Monroe, we were anonymous. We didn't tell anybody who was writing the books, which was kind of a whole thing. We didn't think it would be a whole thing, but it became a whole thing. And then I guess eventually in 2017, was that the year?
18.
2018. Yeah, because it was the first year of Book Bonanza.
Mhm.
And that was our first signing we did, and that was kind of our like, this is who we are event.
Yeah. We we thought it would be fun for us to have the anonymity, and we wrote on our own, and we didn't want those readers to feel any kind of preconceived notion about what to expect from us as a duo. So the easiest way for that, just and for us to take the pressure off, was to be, just Max Monroe, but you don't know who we are other than we are romance writers. We've been around writing romance novels. And yeah, we didn't think it would be a big thing.
Were
But
people stalking you? Is that what was happening?
People were, yeah. Well, a lot
We
of
want
people
details.
yes,
Yes,
a
we
lot of
want to
people
know.
thought it became this whole thing with Colleen Hoover. Like a lot of people thought that we were Colleen Hoover, and she played into it and would joke around that she was Max Monroe, or maybe she's not Max Monroe.
That's
And
so funny.
very funny. And that's how we ended up, at Book Bonanza. She
Yeah.
asked us to sign there, and we're like,
Aw.
yeah, it's time, to reveal who Max Monroe is. So it just became this whole thing. And some people were doing their very hardest to figure out who we were, searching business records and you name it, they were
That's
trying to find.
crazy.
Yeah.
yes, all sorts of things. And I mean, it was not done by us whatsoever. We don't think big. I mean, maybe a little bit more now than we used to, but back then it was just for fun. We genuinely just wanted to write together as a fun project. And so it was really Colleen who took that to the next level, because every time we said we're not Colleen, because we were like, we're not her, like, don't get
Yeah.
your hopes up or expectations set that that's who we are. And every time we would say we weren't, she would be like, but am I? And
Oh gosh.
we're not, so
Yeah.
that was a fun thing, so much so that we were terrified when we went to that first signing. I mean,
Sure.
you
That
want to
people
see
that
a
people wouldn't
couple,
like you?
yes, a
Well,
couple
yeah, they would
nervous,
be disappointed or
disappointed,
something.
a
Yeah.
couple nervous gals, because everybody had built up in their minds who these people were, and I said,
Mm.
that's gonna be us, you know. They're gonna be like, oh,
What?
big deal, So we had tissue packs that said, sorry, we're not Colleen Hoover. We
Oh,
had
that's so cute.
a
Funny.
Yeah,
That was
whole thing.
great. You played into it.
we
We
did.
did. We
Yeah.
went with
What?
it. I still get ragged on about that to this day, about those tissue packs, because they looked like maxi pads. So she brings that up all the time.
You ordered them in bulk. Like there was like a
Like a
1,000
thousand. If you're gonna buy anything that's swag related, you gotta
in
buy
bulk.
a lot, or
In
you're gonna
bulk.
pay too much for it.
Yeah,
So
right.
I ordered like 1,000 of them, and they came and they looked just like maxi
Yeah,
pads.
it looked like maxi pads.
But that's brilliant marketing though. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
And so how were you received? What happened? What
Really
did the
well.
Love.
people?
With love. We
Oh,
were
that's
received with
wonderful.
love.
Yeah,
Because our
everybody.
readers are fantastic. And yeah, I mean, like it's hard to believe. There's a lot of readers from, especially in the early stages. Like we had our own little Facebook group with our readers, and that's grown since then. But like you always remember the OGs, like the ones that were
Right.
there with you from the start. And
Oh,
yeah, we can still remember a lot of those readers by name. If I'd see them out, I'd know exactly who they are.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And we both have the support of, we both on our last tour had people come to the signings that had been our readers when we wrote on our own. Each
Mm-hmm.
of us had someone come who used to read our books prior to us writing together. So more than a decade ago, long
wow.
time, and they showed up still supportive and like happy that we went the direction that we did, and like really happy for us. And we really do have the best readers. They really were supportive even though we weren't Colleen, and they've been supportive ever since. I think thankfully we waited long enough in the industry that we had enough books out that they liked us okay for who we were.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
really use that. Use that up proper.
I
Love it.
love that. I love that. So authors and writers, that are listening today will get incredible feedback because they're going to hear from both of you how it felt to be an author, like the journey as an author
Mhm.
solo, like a regular
Mhm.
author, and then a collaborating author
Mhm.
that turned into this thing because Max Monroe is an entity, as it's a
Mhm.
one entity, right? But it's created by the two of you. So share with us, both of you, how that journey was individually and how it was as a team.
Well, I would say writing on my own. I mean, I was still working full time as a nurse. So that was hard on its own, like juggling both. I had a young child then. I have a young child now, but you know,
That's what it
You're
is.
still young.
Get you.
yeah, only the one job. Um, I think for me, I enjoyed writing on my own. It definitely was a creative outlet. It helped me understand. I've always been a writer. I just never quite knew how to fully tap into it. So that was the solo journey was important for that reason of understanding I really am a writer. Like all these stories I have in my head, like I have to get them out somehow. But writing solo can be very solitary. And I think when you find someone that you mesh so well with and you get to take the journey with them, like we have with each other, like I feel really grateful for that because writing really can be solitary. It can be hard in that way. I would say that's like the thing I feel most grateful for is that it's like, I just get to write books with my best friend. And when we're struggling, we usually time it. One of us is struggling and the other one is like, it's okay. We got this. We switch those roles. So, and the career is hard anyways, like putting yourself out there, the market is hard. It can be very competitive, very challenging. And when you have each other and you're literally both in the same position, navigating it together, that's invaluable.
Mhm. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, when I was writing solo, it was a formative time in my life, so to speak, that I wouldn't change how I did my career with the start of writing by myself. It taught me so much about what I was capable of, because I think that's one of the first hurdles that you're gonna come to when you decide you want to write a book is, can I actually do it? Because there's a lot of abstract story and creativity and all these ideas floating in my head. But when it comes down to put it on the page and actually make it turn into a cohesive book, can I do that? So I think my solo career was really great for proving to myself what I was capable of and that I was capable of turning all of those thoughts that are, uh, you know, the soup ingredients into the soup, um, that I could do that. So it also taught me a resilience that I wouldn't wish on people, so to speak, but you are going to learn that you're going to get feedback and it's not always going to be great feedback. Um, Even if you're popular or you're doing a good job, or it's not about your work, it's just about the way exposing something of your own out there works. You are going to get criticisms. Some will be valid and some will not be valid.
Yeah,
um, but you learn to handle that. And learning to handle it solo really prepared me to enjoy the benefit of not handling it solo. So
exactly.
talking to my husband about this, there's always ups and downs in this career. That is the great and bad thing about this career. You are going to ride a roller coaster like you wouldn't believe. But when I was by myself, I have a great supportive family, husband, parents. Everybody is on my team. I'm very fortunate in that. But no one, my husband just remarked this to me the other day, is even him, as much as he wanted to be there for me and support me, no one is there with you, walking that exact experience of someone talking about you online, saying untrue things or saying,
Oh
things that
no.
they didn't like or any of that. And it
Hmm.
happens more than you think, even if it's a small voice or a small contingent and it's not true, or it's
Mhm.
just going to happen in any career where you're exposing yourself like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it taught me working together with someone, with the right partner. I think that's very important because it's a marriage
Mhm.
of
It
sorts.
is.
Right.
Yeah.
It
It
is
truly is.
a marriage. You are committed to one another, and you have to find understanding and be able to support them in their love language and their needs, not just your own.
Mhm.
But it taught me to be ready for the joy of having someone else to say, you truly understand what I'm going through right now, like no one else can. And to celebrate the victories, because a lot of times in this career, you release a book and it's more stress than success in your head, right? Even
Mm.
if it's success, it's more stress.
Well, you're scared. You're
You're
Oh,
scared to
yeah.
release it. Yeah.
you're facing a public opinion on something that you've put your time, sweat, blood, everything into.
Tears.
Yes,
Mhm.
you've put all your time into. So, even if the reaction is good, you internalize it as a stressor. And having someone else there is a great way for us to say, like, take a step back and be
Mhm.
proud of yourself. We just put out a book, and you really learn to appreciate things that you let yourself skip over by yourself. But I will say, if you are considering working in a duo, just the best advice I can give that I think applies to everyone, because our system does not apply to everyone. But I think the advice that does apply to everyone if you're going to work with someone is that it is a collaborative
Mhm.
effort.
Mhm.
You should expect that, with the goal in mind of the best product you can possibly produce, the best story you can possibly put out, someone is going to cut your words, change your words, move your words, suggest that it should be a different idea. And it's not an attack. It is a collaborative effort to the best product in the end. So
Yes.
Mm.
we're both really good at that, working with one another, but it is a really tough pill to swallow if you are not used to
Mm-hmm.
someone having opinions about something so personal.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So I do have a business question in this sense. So in
Mhm.
the beginning, when you both started writing books, were you indie authors, traditionally published? How did you get picked up? And then when you came together, what did that landscape look like from a business perspective? Did you have to
Yeah.
merge your like figure out which publishing company to go with, or you went with a completely separate one altogether?
Mhm.
Well, we've both been mostly indie for most of our careers. So when we were solo, we were just indie.
Mhm.
And then when we got together, we did some publishing contracts, like foreign publishing deals, audio publishing deals, but we still felt very proprietary over staying indie. We didn't weren't really seeking to have a traditional publisher involved. But over the years, we've felt encouraged by what a lot of traditional publishers are doing, which is they're really using a lot of indie marketing tactics and stuff in a good
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
Good.
Um, and so we also we publish a lot of books, right? So traditional publishing has kind of changed in that mindset too, where they're more willing to have you publishing more often.
Right.
So it's just been with the Redbridge series. That was our first traditionally publishing deal. So What I Should Have Said, When I Should Have Stayed, that's with Entangled. Um, and we actually published What I Should Have Said as an indie, and it had been very successful and gotten a lot of attention. And Entangled we ended up getting a 4 book deal with them. So that
Wow.
series will technically have 4 books.
Oh.
Um,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
then we also have a few contracts with Montlake as well. So
Mhm.
Amazon's romance publishing imprint. So we'll have our first release with them in November, end of
You
November.
So you can have different publishing companies, like that's a thing? I thought once you had one, that was it. Like there was non-compete, like
No, you
No.
definitely can. The probably the trickiest thing that you find with that is the scheduling aspect, right? So you want to make sure that your agent is is helping you make sure you're able to hit their publishing dates
Mhm.
and that they're not conflicting. So it depends on the publisher, and you can negotiate your contracts. Like some publishers could try to say something wild, like, you can't publish 9 months before or 9 months after we publish your book. That can be negotiated. We've seen as small as 2 months before, 2 months after. So that's all stuff that when you have an agent that is, championing for you, they can help you negotiate those things. That's probably the trickiest part if you're going to have multiple publishers
Okay.
involved in your schedule, is just making sure the dates are going to align and you're not going to, topple over them.
Yeah, you're beholden to what's in your contract with a publisher, and um that sometimes is that you might have a non-compete in there depending on what your contract says.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, or if it's something related to a series, so like our Redbridge series being with Entangled, anything in relation to that would be a first right to that publisher and that sort of thing. You have certain constraints, but you also develop sort of a loyalty sometimes where you're maybe giving a first offer to someone you're working with already. But you're definitely open to being with different publishers, and um, we haven't had any issues with them having a contention with that either. They truly believe most of the time, as we do, that a rising tide raises all
All
the ships.
boats. Yeah. All the marketing across
Mm-hmm.
the board. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, I mean, it's definitely you can create your own path. I think that's a really great thing to keep in mind for anybody who's trying to go into this career is there are certain things that are the way they're done,
Right.
that you're gonna have to fall into. But there's also a lot of things that you can shape your own path with, and diversify in a way that's going to make you feel comfortable. So, because different publishers are going to have different strengths. We're working with a couple of different publishers that are going to get different things done, because they have different, really kind of end games, and that works for us. So you have to see what works for you.
So interesting. And how did the name come about? Where did Max Monroe come from and what
Because
inspired
that's not
Max
your
and what
real
did
names, guys.
No.
Spoiler.
Best
We
answer there is, and that's that we have no idea.
we have no idea.
Was it
Okay.
over a
Like,
couple
All right.
drinks? Were you guys just
I
like,
mean,
you know?
we're not big drinkers in general. So probably maybe too much caffeine. That would be
That works too.
what
Yep.
happened. I think one of us just said Max Monroe. We just liked the name. We just thought it
It flowed.
worked. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll preface this by
Oh
saying
yeah.
I'm not surprised. We really like alliteration. Like
Uh-huh.
we have a real obsession with it with names. Just ask any of our editors of any of our books. And they're like, again, they're all, like Maureen Makowitz. Like we are gonna have to change somebody. Not everybody is gonna
The
have
alliteration. It's a whole small town filled with
yeah.
alliteration names.
Yeah, we,
How
we
funny.
tend to do that a lot. So
We
I am
love it. Yeah.
not surprised that that's where our author name went.
Yeah.
Oh, how wonderful. So now you meet an aspiring author, right? Somebody that's in the process of writing and they're kind of like on the fence. Is this really worth it? Or do I not do this? What's the advice that you would give them now that you've actually walked on two different streets that are completely,
Mhm.
that it's so much more than just an author that's independent?
Hmm.
Mhm. Is this somebody with a book that's finished?
Anybody listening, it could be maybe they wrote one and they published one and it went nowhere. Maybe they're in the middle of writing one. Maybe, I don't know.
Any
Any
stage of their
Any,
writing career.
yeah.
Well, for the authors that are in the process of writing, right? Just get the words down. Like, don't feel like your first draft has to be perfect. We are strong believers in a heavy revision process. So, if you would see our first draft, we're pretty clean writers in general, but the true magic, like you'll have sparks of really great scenes in our first draft. Those are the scenes that we clearly envisioned the best, saw it like a movie as we were writing it. But then you have some other scenes that maybe were just harder. You just couldn't fully get there. Still just write them and then revise it. That's revisions are where you're going to perfect the dialogue, setting the scene, the prose, all of that. So get the book down first because that is a win. That's a milestone. If you get the first book, the first draft of that book down where the story is there, obviously it might be kind of bare bones. That's okay because you're going
The
to go
foundation.
in. Yeah, you're going to go back in and that's where you're going to perfect it. And truthfully, if you, I mean, this is how we work, right? This might not be for everybody, but I think for most people trying to finish a book, this probably would apply. Um, if you can get that first draft down, a lot of times you've even learned your characters really well by the time you write the end. So then when you're going back into revisions, you're seeing those characters from chapter one with a full picture of them rather than as you're starting to write the book, you might not have the full picture in the early part. So that's my advice for somebody that is struggling to finish a book. You're most likely putting too much pressure on yourself to make it perfect. Just get
Mm.
the words down. Also, we don't always write in chronological order. That could also be something that's
I
messed.
remember that from your interview, from
Yeah.
your, yeah. Tell
So
us more
So
share
about
that
that.
with us.
Yeah,
yeah.
Mhm.
tell us more about it.
So we're strong believers in if you're feeling a scene, you probably just need to write that scene, even if it's way out of order. There's been times she's writing the first half of the book, I'm writing the ending. I'm writing the epilogue because that's so vivid in my mind. Um, you don't some people thrive with writing chronologically. That tends to kind of box us in. There's been books we've done it, but I would say the majority of our books are not chronological until we're in the revision phase. Then we're going
Okay.
from the start to the end, and then you have the full picture. Um, that's my advice for people that are struggling to write a book. But if you're, aspiring and you have a book written or you've already published a book, man, what would my advice be? What would your advice be to them?
My best advice I can give if you want to take this seriously as a career, it's something that you're passionate about, is be the person that doesn't give up.
Mm.
If you are the person that will not,
Persistence.
you
Mm,
can take no for an answer because you're gonna get no for an answer. You are
yeah.
gonna get it a lot. It's just
Yeah.
one of those careers that it it has a lot of opinion, right? A lot of careers, if you work hard, you're gonna keep climbing. You work hard at your job. This one is you can work hard, you can write a banging book, like talking like it is the best and still get nowhere with it. You put one out, it doesn't get the notoriety, you're not getting the marketing push that you wanted. People aren't seeing your TikToks or your social media posts or any of
Mm.
that. That's going to happen with some books that deserve more notoriety. But if you are the person who will not give up, you'll get there. Give yourself the time and give yourself the permission to say, I won't stop. I won't stop until I'm there. And if you are that person, you will get there because a lot of people are not that person. They will give up eventually because it is a tiring thing if it's something that's going to wear on you. But if you have that inside you, if you have a little bit of a hint that that's something that you could be is the person that just doesn't quit, you've got a lot of success ahead of you because that is one of the best qualities you can have.
I
Um,
will say that sometimes along that journey, right, you get bad reviews. It's like inevitable.
Mhm.
So you do kind of got to get a little bit of thick skin. Like when you get ready, this is how we do it. When we get ready to publish a book, when we finished a book, it's gone through edits, all of that. The book is in a place where we both feel this is the best version of this book. This is a quality book. We stand behind this book, all aspects of it. So you put it out in the world and inevitably you're going to see bad reviews. Even though you're like, this was like, we put everything into it. It's the best book we've ever written. That will happen. And you have to learn to kind of have thick skin with that, and also being able to distinguish what feedback is valid, because sometimes you can get some valid feedback. Maybe you wrote a book, all of it's great, but like the first half had a little bit of a slow start. Maybe you info dumped a little too much in the first two or three chapters where you could have just put all that info in dialogue and like made it a clever scene, or you didn't just dive right into the action and you should have. That's valid feedback you can consider for your next books. But if you have somebody that is just like, I hate this, not valid. We have our books published in Italian, a lot of them. We have a great Italian publisher. And we got tagged. This has been years ago. I really think this was like, it's probably still one of our most popular series. It's our Billionaire Bad Boys series. So very funny, outlandish rom-com, meant to be ridiculous in a lot of ways, but so much fun. And we got tagged in an Instagram post from a reader, an Italian reader, who had read it and hated it. Hated it to the point that she tagged the publisher in it and said to never publish their book
What the heck?
again.
I
Yeah.
respect the hustle, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But the
Like,
audacity. Come
I
on.
find that charming in a way that you
Oh,
disliked it so much that
she's
you're
like,
was
actually
invested.
campaigning to
yeah.
get us out of there.
Was she
Wow.
like disappointed with the ending? Like what was happening
Yeah,
there?
I think maybe it was the crudeness in it. There was a lot of, F words and stuff like that. And,
Oh, please.
and that's all valid.
Mhm.
Truthfully, by that point in our careers, when we had seen that, we weren't laughing at her, right? We
Mhm.
thought, man, like she means it. Like she's going all the way with this. She's taking it all the way up. Like she's like,
Wow.
Put it up the
again.
chain, make
Yeah.
some action.
She invested herself in it.
Yeah, she said, even tagged us in it. So she was fully transparent. Like, I want you to know, I don't want these books in Italy. None of them.
Jeez.
What the?
But yeah,
They
I
almost
respect
book
it.
banned you.
Oh, like you're gonna get that. The series she was referring to, that first book is a New York Times bestseller. The other two are USA Today bestsellers. These are wildly successful books, right? Essentially launched our career. And that's an example of a review that you can get. Like there's going to be people that just are they in a
Haters.
bad mood, or they
Mhm.
just, who
It
knows?
doesn't mesh well with their humor
Yeah,
or
who
whatever
knows?
it's going to be. It's not a good fit.
Well, what do you think was going to happen picking up the title Billionaire Bad Boy? Like
I
what
know.
did you think was going to happen in that
Well,
book?
she doesn't like them bad, I guess.
She doesn't like them, I
Oh.
guess, and
He
I
was going to
respect
turn
it.
good and like be squeaky clean. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I respect it. I do.
Yeah,
But
we weren't offended at all, truthfully, because we have grown in this career, learning to be able to distinguish reviews, right? Because you can't give reviews that give good feedback, like I said, but
Mhm.
then you're going to get some reviews that are just, it's out of your control. It's so subjective. It's not concrete. It's out of your control. And you have to learn to be at peace with yourself and what you created, and just, yeah, like they didn't like it. I'm not the author for them. And if you can
Right.
do that and combine it with the like, I am I'm going to be a successful writer. I'm
Mhm.
making this my career. You'll be unstoppable. Like if you can do those two things, you'll be unstoppable. You will have success.
You guys ever
What
heard
happened?
sorry.
Go ahead, Priya.
You
No,
guys
that's
ever heard
okay.
the phrase from Madonna? Any
Even bad
publicity
bad publicity is
publicity
good
is
publicity.
any
Yeah,
publicity is good publicity.
That's
exactly.
right.
It's
Yeah.
like the same take. Like it's still marketing, kind of like Colleen Hoover still making fun of, your first batch of books that came out. People didn't know who you were. It was
Yeah.
any type of publicity was making, it was
Good.
good.
yes, it's going to help.
Even
It's in
even
this.
the maxi pads.
Yes, even the maxi pads.
Yes.
No, I mean
Oh,
it's led to stories while we're out on tour of that comes
sure.
up. Uh, every
Yeah,
experience you can turn it into a fun experience with a positive
absolutely.
attitude, which
Yeah.
What
we've
would
really been working on because I recommend that also. The more positive you can be about literally every aspect of rejection, critique, uh, along with the highs of your career, the better off you're mentally going to be and the easier everything is going to feel. So the best thing you can do for yourself is a positive attitude.
Good, good. What do you tell writers that stop? They just have, I guess, writer's block.
Mm.
Because we do get asked that when they just completely stop halfway through the book, other than finish it.
Mhm.
What 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 advice would you give them to motivate themselves to continue?
What do you guys do too when you both, does it happen that both of you at the
You hit
same
a
time have
wall and
writer's
you're like,
block?
It's
nothing's
not,
coming.
Force it. We
yeah,
force it.
I think what it comes down to is working with the way your brain works. If you
For
give
sure.
yourself permission to not do it the way you've been taught or told, or if you come up on a block, for me, I am not ready to write that scene,
Mhm.
probably because I don't have the vision. But if I'm ready to write something else, I can see some other scene. I jump. I go, like she said,
Mhm.
we're out of order. I will go to the other scene where I can write.
Mhm.
I will write in pieces. I'll write 3 sentences in this chapter, 3 sentences in this chapter, 3 sentences in another chapter. I will write all over the place. Part of what helps us, we have a schedule where can't stop.
How does that
But
look like for you? What do you girls do?
What do you mean? Like our
It's
daily
just
writing schedule?
yeah. What does a week in your life look like? Is it, do you look at it like a 9 to 5 or like a 5 to
Is it
7
lots of
p.m.?
coffee? Like, what are you
Lots of
doing?
coffee. I mean, so we both have kids and we're out of summer, right? So kids are in school. I've got a 1.5-year-old and a 14-year-old. And then Max has, how old is Graydon? 6?
a 6 and almost 14.
Yeah. So for me, if I can get up at like 5 in the morning before everybody else gets up, I do my best writing then. I can usually get easily 4,000, 5,000 words in about a 2-hour stretch
Okay.
What?
because that's it at the 5 a.m. That's like a 5 to
No,
7 a.m.
that's like
slot. Yeah.
super brain. That's like,
Yeah. Well, but that's also going with, I'm just letting the words flow, right?
okay.
I've
Hmm.
learned to just write the scene. Not like pausing like what's the best dialogue tag here? No, you just write the scene, just write the
Hmm.
Let it all out.
let it all out, right? So that's a quick writing pace with that type of writing style. So a lot of times you do shortcuts in that type of aspect. If you're writing dialogue, you write the dialogue. You're not so worried about the action around the dialogue. If you're setting the scene, it's very short snippets. So you almost have more placeholders to where when you're in revision, you're really filling it in. That's that type of pace. Especially when it's the first part of a book. If I'm just starting a book, that's what it's like. If I've been in the book for, I'm getting towards the end, then I could easily write that type of words and it's pretty close. There won't be a lot of revisions. Just because I'm so inundated. It's like I could almost call my children the characters' names at that point because I'm just in that world so much. So
Okay.
ideally, my writing is 5 to 7 early morning. I love when it's just one session.
Oh,
That's what we're in that phase right now, where we're in the middle of a book, but kind of starting it. So it would be that, and then I do kids stuff, then I do some admin work, then we usually have calls, like we're chatting
hmm.
with you guys. And then if I like have more writing to do, there'd be another like mid-afternoon session, maybe an hour or two. Um, yeah, I mean, it's busy because then like tonight before dinner, I'll probably be doing social media posts. So
Mm.
it's like,
Do you
But you
find
have,
yourself
you're like
text?
organized. It sounds like you're organized.
Right,
it's like organized chaos, right? It's
right.
kind of,
Every day is a different day, but we have certain things that work best for us. So I'm the same. My early morning is my best productivity writing wise. My brain's the freshest. So I have the easiest time writing at that time of day. Sometimes that doesn't work out. But
Yeah.
if it does, that's when I'm going to have the easiest time. Something else, a tool that I use if I'm having a slow brain morning. So, say I need to write words. We both write on about a 2,000 words an hour pace.
Hmm.
That's it depends, okay? But that's if we're both pacing, that's about where we are. But sometimes I'm having a really laggy brain morning, and something that really helps me is to take things in really small chunks. So I will do a sprint for 10 minutes, 5 minutes off, 10 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 10 minutes on, 5 minutes off. And you'll surprise yourself at how much you can get done in 10 minutes if you just are focused for 10 minutes at a time. You can write 300-400 words easy, and you're like, wow, and especially for someone like me who writes in parts and pieces, a lot of times when I'm early in the process, that is very easy. I can write a piece here that's 400 words, a piece here that's 400 words, and I'm doing it at 10 minutes at a time. So that keeps me kind of on target with everything else that we have going on. That's our biggest goal, is that we are, you can write for 2 to 3 hours and then have the rest of the day to do all the other stuff we have to do. Um, but I will say, I think it was Judy Blume, but I can't be quoted on that. But there's a writer that I've always loved. The quote, "I'm not a great writer, I'm a great rewriter."
Hmm.
Because that's really where our strong suit is not that you don't get some things right the first time, but you're getting yourself the basis, and then I can work with something that's
Hmm.
and make
Sure.
it great. So, I think because the blank page is the scariest part a lot of the time, staring at that. Uh,
So
so
intimidating.
if you
Yeah.
could just put something on there, it's not blank anymore. There's stuff to work with.
Yeah.
So,
And now you have um, not an author, but let's say a fan that loves to read your books. As a fan, I'm going to ask you a question. How do you determine what your next book is going to be? Is it a text that you just shoot at each other like, oh my God, our next book has to be, a girl falling in love over, she tripped over whatever, like just a thought comes in and you say, okay, that'll be our next book. And then that starts the ball rolling for you.
Well, let's combine that with the Red Bridge series. Like, how did you do
Okay.
that with the Red Bridge series? Tell us about that.
Well, what I should have said, the first book in that series is an interesting case. It's unlike any process we've had with any book prior. We had like 90,000 words on that book, and it was mostly, if you haven't read it yet, it's
For the
Bennett
first book, for the first one.
book. Yeah. So for this one, this
What
one,
I
this
should have
one.
said, right?
So this is Enemies to Lovers. And Bennett just seems really grumpy for 90,000 words. And we're not fully leaning into his backstory.
Mm,
He has a pretty tragic backstory, and he's a single dad, and we were not leaning into that. So this book was like several versions of us not wanting to go all the way, mostly because we've been rom-com writers. So
Right.
it felt a little scary to go all the way emotionally.
mm, mm-hmm.
But once we decided to do that, then we
once we gave ourselves the permission of like, you've got to write it the way it's
got to
supposed to.
write it the
But
way it is.
clearly, we don't like the book at 90,000 words. It's not because it's not right. Not
Right.
that it couldn't have been a fine
Yeah.
story for someone, but we are so character driven writers that
Hmm.
the characters not being who they're supposed to be is like a crime. So
Mm-hmm.
we were like,
Yeah.
not right. We have to. So that book, like she said, is the only book we've ever gotten that far into and said, no,
Mm-mm.
Wow.
to redo.
So let's rewind just a little bit.
Yeah.
Where did the whole idea of what I should have said come from? Was it a text? Was it a conversation? Like who said, okay, we got to write about this story?
Well,
It-
we both get ideas that we're, attached to, right? So we like the idea of a runaway bride. So that definitely happens in what I should have said. Um, and that story kind of started from there. The runaway bride. We could definitely picture kind of what's going on. It's like the true runaway bride. Like she's in the gown, she's ready to
Right.
get married, and she can't do it. And it's, kind of being consumed with what would make you run the other way. If you have a church full of people, what would make you run? So that's how that book started. And then because of her backstory, because there's more with her family and her mother and her, her groom that she didn't marry, what type of man would be a good match for her. So that's where Bennett comes in. Um, I would say that the ideas came in two parts with that. I was the runaway bride, you know, champion. Like really want to write this.
Got it.
And then Max was we know Bennett's not right, and I think I know why. And he is a single dad,
Mm.
and there are definitely emotional circumstances going on here.
I love
Um,
that you did that. Like, so each of you took on the persona, like
mhm.
the characters.
Yeah, in
Mhm.
that respect, yeah, we did. So that's how that book went. When I Should Have Stayed, the second book with Josie and Clay, their story evolved as we were writing What I Should Have Said, because
Yeah.
Josie is Nora, the runaway bride from What I Should Have Said,
Mhm.
sister, and then Clay is Bennett's best friend. So
Okay.
their story we kind of started to put together as we were writing What I Should Have Said. So that one was pretty easy. Now, in general, we're mood writers, so we don't like to fully brainstorm an idea until we are ready to write it. We found that if we brainstorm something like intensely,
We come too early, it ruins the night for everyone. And for
that's
us, if
exactly
we
what it is.
brainstorm too early, that book is
Yes.
going to ruin that idea for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because
So
Oh,
the
interesting.
excitement is done.
done. I
We're like,
can't tell you
wow, that was so
how
fun to
many.
talk about. It's written, right?
And
So
then our brains they just refuse to even dive in. They're like,
Oh,
no, we wrote it. So many book ideas have gone to the grave from that.
No
they
But
kidding.
we've
get
learned.
resurrected. I will
Yeah,
say sometimes they get resurrected, but that is
sometimes.
once we learned that that was the case, we have a pretty good system of if you've got an idea, you write it down and you
mhm.
We
don't
don't
tell
talk
that
about it.
person. We don't talk about it. You maybe say, I had an idea, I wrote it down, and then you wait until it's like, are we picking the book that we're writing? How about this one? And then an
Yeah,
intense brainstorm of what it was. But yeah, we hold that back. If we don't, we get too excited too soon.
I did. We'll be on the phone for hours brainstorming. That's our favorite thing to
Sure.
do.
Hmm.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, how beautiful. I love the energy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
let's talk about your next book
Yes.
that's coming out.
Leave before I love you.
Leave Before I Love You. Now, what date is it coming out?
Comes out
And
this
tell
Friday.
this
September
Friday. So,
12th.
guys, we're recording 9/9.
Yes.
So this is
Yeah,
out already.
September 12th. So it's out because I
It's
think you
out.
said this is going to air in October. So yes.
Yes, it is out. Go and pick up your copy.
Yes.
Oh,
Tell us about this
absolutely.
book. Tell us about it.
So this one is so much fun. It is a brother's best friend, extreme forced proximity romance. So
Ooh,
within
I
the
love
first
those.
two chapters, they will be thrown together in ways you cannot even imagine. We had a blast with these characters in this story. I don't really want to give spoilers on the extreme
No
forced
spoilers.
proximity.
Too fresh.
Yes. So, yeah, it is extreme force proximity. She's kind of like a Miami rich party girl. He's like this alpha adrenaline lover, jumps out of planes, parachutes. He owns a whole company based off of that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
they're very much opposites, in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, they're kind of the
Have
same.
similar cores, but
Mhm.
the what how they live their lives very different. She's
Very
in her
different.
heels with her manicure, with her,
Uh-huh.
done hair
Very
and
Miami.
outfit and
Yes.
He's, climbing mountains and
He's
such.
Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's
Awesome. Okay, good.
so much fun. So many readers have been surprised in the best way about how these characters got thrown together. So yeah, it's
Yes.
I love
fun,
that.
rom-com, not gonna be like a tearjerker like, the Redbridge series.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause
good.
Oh, how
there's a
wonderful.
Break it
book.
up a little bit.
There's a
Yeah.
book
Y'all are
set.
destroying hearts here.
Yes. There's a book set in this world where you first meet the female character. Well, you meet both of them, but
Yeah.
as a side character, just she's a side character, and people were not convinced about her. But now that they are reading this book, they are all so surprised at how much they love her.
Yeah.
I love that. So you just keep grabbing characters from different stories and different books and then kind of go with that character
Fun.
and
Yeah.
Mhm.
tell a story. So
Yeah.
clever. Beautiful. This so done so beautifully. So if our readers want to read this one,
hmm
before they read this one, what if you're not if you're only listening to us and you can't see us, it's when I should have, yeah, right. When I should have stayed. Before you read when I should have said, you should have read what I should have said, right? So
100%.
I know, where can people find your books?
Well,
To
you
all the
can
new coming fans.
Yeah, you can find them anywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You could go to any local Barnes and Noble and buy the paperback.
Beautiful.
Some BAM location, well, most BAM
Okay.
locations.
Sam's,
Some Targets,
Walmart. Yeah. Pretty much
Walmart,
Beautiful.
everywhere
pretty
you can
much
find
everywhere.
books,
Yeah.
generally speaking. It's a
Yeah.
city by city basis, but
Yeah.
When
yes.
is the third one coming? No pressure.
July of next year.
July.
Of
Hmm.
next
Next year. Okay.
year.
Beautiful.
Oh, are we doing a
Beautiful.
tour? Are we doing a tour again for any of
We,
these
I
books?
think so.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
don't have a plan of where it'll be or any of that, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll be on tour again. So
And
And
so
another question. Oh, sorry,
go
Mercy.
ahead.
We always talk over
I
each other.
I
we do.
know it's our thing. I
April,
want to know. No, no. Go ahead, Priya.
good. Okay. April is the New York Book Con. Are you guys going to be there?
Oh, we don't know.
It's in April. We're thinking we're probably going to end up going just, to pick up all our free books.
New York City?
New York City. So it used to be a big thing, and because of COVID, they stopped it and they're bringing it back. So
Oh,
you pay like I think the tickets are $60. It used to be $100. You pay $100, you bring your suitcase, you
oh,
walk
wow.
around the whole convention hall, you get new books, you get freebies, you meet the authors, you get signings. I think I had gotten a book from Al Roker the last time
Oh,
they
that's
did an
fantastic.
event.
That's
But
fantastic.
it's so much fun. Like indie authors are there, traditionally published authors, there's panels. You guys should definitely consider it.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to our publishers about it too, because, we're always up for New York.
Yeah.
Right? Who isn't? It's such a fun city.
Yes.
And if anybody wants to find out where you're going to be whenever you're in tour or book signings or whatever the case may be, what's the best platform for them to follow you on? Is it Instagram? Is it
Probably, well, Instagram is probably the most up to date when it comes to when we're announcing tours. We definitely do
okay?
on TikTok and Facebook, but Instagram is the easiest to just find the stuff.
Okay.
And then obviously our website, which is just authormaxmonroe.com.
Okay. Beautiful. And the last question, and I'll let you girls go because I feel like I've asked you 1,000 questions. So you have uh an aspiring author, we're saying,
Mhm.
right? Not a published author yet that's learning the process and they're thinking about writing a book or they started writing a book and they want to start on a platform. They're on Instagram now, right? Or they're on TikTok, it doesn't matter which one.
Mhm.
Between life, because we know how complicated life is,
Mhm.
especially if, in our case as moms, um, you're dedicating X amount of hours to your writing. You do that in the morning,
Mhm.
but at whatever point you do it, let's say you dedicate 2 hours of your 20-hour day as moms, right? How many hours do you give your social media?
Ooh. Um, well, if we're only doing the 2-hour writing sessions, we have more free time for social media. I would say, we're probably doing an hour or two a day on average of social media, The only time we kind of lose sight of that is when we're in the revision process and kind of like crunching a deadline. Then you could go 2 weeks and it's just sporadic when we have time to fit it in. So that will happen, and you shouldn't stress yourself out over that. Like, you need to give yourself grace in those moments, right? Because sometimes you do have to just prioritize something, and the most important part is getting a book done.
Mhm.
And then next comes the social media. Like, if you don't have anything to promote, well, you don't need the social media. So
Right.
that's kind of how it goes for us. I would say on average, it's probably 1 to 2 hours a day. We try not to do anything on the weekends, though.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we'll
Good.
post, but usually
Yeah.
we post
Right.
together and stuff. But I think also just a good thing to keep in mind if you're starting your social media up is just be genuine to yourself. Because
Mhm.
it's so easy to be like, oh, this trend, that trend, this person's doing this and it works for them. People want to see a real person. That
Mhm.
is the most thing they want to see. So if you could be yourself, obviously there's ways to make that hooky or
Right.
do something cute with it, but be genuine to the person that you are. If you're an introvert who sits in a dark room with a projector and reads your books, like that's what you're putting on your
That's who you are.
social,
Right.
be who you are.
I
Yeah,
love that.
That's what we always say as well. So
Mm-hmm.
good.
And
Good.
that's a great way to end today's episode. We want to thank you both so much for being our guests, talking about the Red Brit series. You guys, this is going to be our featured series for October,
So
October's
beautiful too.
Books and Martinis podcast book club. Thank you guys for joining us so much. Y'all, their information is in the summary. Follow them, pick up their books. I'm also going to check out the Billionaire books
I
because,
know they sound so fun.
that's more my speed.
You will laugh a lot.
Laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I love it.
Congratulations
It was so
on your
wonderful meeting
success.
you.
Yep. Yep. It was so wonderful talking to you both.
Yeah.
Like,
You.
share, follow, subscribe. Oh, let's do a last cheers, guys.
Yep.
Cheers to your success.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And
Salute.
any final words to your listeners out there? All the ones that are listening, because
love
they already
you.
know and love you.
We love you.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting up with us over and over and over again and
Yeah.
listening.
We'll keep writing.
We'll keep writing.
Please
Great.
don't stop.
Yeah. We'll keep reading. All right, you
All
guys.
right. Bye, guys. Thank you for being
everybody.
on.
Thank you, listeners.
Thank
And thank
you.
you, ladies.
Bye.